Cops don't like me, so I don't like cops.
Badges don't grant extra rights. This is Cop Block Radio on the FPRN Radio Network. Here are your hosts, Eric, Adam, and Scott.
And welcome everybody to the Cop Block Radio Show for November 20th, 2013. And I am echoing like crazy, but that's okay. I'm Eric, and with me tonight I have, as always, Adam and Scott. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How's Eric doing?
Good.
You sound echo-free now.
Oh yeah, I'm good now. Was it echoing for you too?
I don't think so. You were talking about you could always hear yourself in your headset, but I can never hear myself.
I can hear myself, but not on a delay. It's as I'm saying it. So, but we'll see. But Adam managed to finally join us. We thought he was mining for Bitcoin, but it was just a Windows 8 update.
Yeah, that was craziness. Don't update to 8.1
I don't have Windows 8
unless you have like an hour to spare.
Or you just need a faster computer, I guess.
It is fast. It's the update. It's horrible.
We think Adam was just mining Bitcoins, but...
I shut that off last night, all right? So.
All right. Do you have a miner?
What's up?
Did you buy a miner?
No, actually, me and the producer have been doing some serious research into the mining and found some software, and we were giving it a shot and see what it did.
And then?
Yeah. It was fun.
And
I've had a better week, I'll tell you that.
What happened? Like, give us what'd you find and what'd you get? Nothing.
No, we found some software, but basically what it comes down to is the Bitcoin algorithm to actually build these blocks has gotten to the point now. There's so many people mining and so many people have mined that the algorithms have gotten so complex that your standard computer can't handle them fast enough to produce anything worthwhile. So basically the only good way to mine Bitcoin is to join in and basically purchase in a share into a large company that has this like super machine that's set up for mining. And yeah, it's like a mining contract to have them mine for you, and they pay you out a share for helping upkeep the equipment.
But it's expensive. And in the end,
to buy yourself one is ridiculous. So yeah, like $30,000 or so.
20 to 40 grand? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'll just
20
to 40 grand worth of metal.
Right, that's because as it goes on, the algorithm gets exponentially more difficult to process through. So by the time you get to you get 40 grand worth of Bitcoin back, then you gotta shell out 80 grand for the next set of hardware to keep up with it.
Now, if we would have started mining like back in 2009, we could have made some serious money. But now, not so much.
Yeah, well, that's like the little video. I don't know if it's on like We Use Coins or what it is, but they're like talking about how it was like, real easy, and they have like the little guy with the pickaxe, and he's like chipping away, and there's like Bitcoin flying everywhere, and then, as time goes on, now it's getting harder and harder. It's not going to get any easier.
Yeah. Nope, it will not. So I don't know about you guys. Eric, how was your week? Because I had a horrible one.
Good.
Tell me it was better than mine.
All right. Well, we'll go to yours in a minute. But after last week's show, we were talking about how we were just getting together, a bunch of us, to write a bunch of 91As, which are New Hampshire's right to know request law, whatever. So we got together and we wrote up 3 different ones. 2 of them went to the city and 1 went to the state police. But one of them who went to the city had like 16 bullet points on it. And then another one had like 8 bullet points on it that we needed. And then the one that went to the state troopers was a mile long as well. So we're expecting a lot. We asked for a lot. So we'll see how much data we actually get back. And, it'll be great even if they just pull all the data. We walk in there, skim through it, and realize we don't want any of it and just leave it. Because you're allowed to go in and inspect it before you make copies of it. Of course, if we get a portable scanner, then we can just scan it into our computer, and we don't actually have to pay them anything for it. So,
nice.
So we're actually going to start meeting on a weekly basis to start our investigations unit, and we will start doing this type of stuff, researching stuff, and submitting requests, even if it's to entities that we don't really care about the data. We'll just ask for the data, let them pull it, and then say, "Nah, we don't want it."
How do you guys have time for all this? Like, oh man, I just got to plug in or find another power source. Shit.
Wait, who had time for what? Are you talking about the 91A request?
Yeah, how do you guys find time to do all this shit? Like, I feel like I don't have time for, well, anything anymore.
Yeah, I just work my regular job, and then I do this on Wednesday, do that on Thursday, and then that's basically my week at this point. Friday night cop walking's kind of fallen off because it's freaking cold outside.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. I hate, that's why I can't move to New Hampshire. It's cold there.
Well, and nobody's out about in the streets anyways when it's really cold out. I'm sure something will happen around Thanksgiving and the first of the year, because those are big drinking times, so we'll see. But no checkpoints have popped up since the September one, so those should be coming soon. So Adam, why'd your week suck?
Oh man, where can I start? All right, so I finish up going down to so obviously I was down in Vegas last week. Went back into Salt Lake and came on the show with you guys for as long as I could there. Basically, a couple nights later, I left to come back to Spokane. Got all the way up out of Utah, through Idaho, up into Montana. Get up just shy of Butte, coming down off the pass, and I throw a rod in my car on the engine and end up stuck on the side of the road at 4:30 in the morning, and it's about 20 degrees out, just at the bottom of the pass. Yeah, it was kind of like that, yes. So, of course, I have myself, my wife, and my 2 children. It's extremely cold, and, of course, the car doesn't run now because it's broken. So, luckily, I called the local taxi company in Butte, Montana, which Butte isn't large per se. Only taxi company I could find online quickly. It happened to be right down the street from where I was. So I lucked out there. He came, picked us up, took us to the motel. We stayed the night at the motel. Father-in-law ended up coming up, driving all the way from Spokane with the car trailer, loaded up the car, we bring it back here. And yeah, I put it in my garage, tear it apart, and it is done. There's no salvaging that engine. It is completely, there's a whole giant hole in the front of it. The piston literally crumbled to pieces. So luckily today I found a new engine, went out to the junkyard and pulled a new one. So I have a new one in my garage now, but now I have to rebuild that one. So I'm down to one car for a while, and it makes it very difficult for my wife to get to work and me to get the kids to school and doing everything else we do. It's very difficult with one car.
Oh man, that sucks, dude. When you said you broke a rod, I thought you meant a tie rod, not piston rod.
Piston rod went right through the front of the block.
Nice.
Big old hole. The piston rod, I'll upload some pictures later tonight when I get to it. I haven't had time recently because I've been doing all this. The piston rod not only is curved in a nice C shape, it actually also has an awesome twist to it too. So it's like double twisted and bent and crazy looking. And then it took out everything inside the engine. And took out one of the main baffles below the crank. It just pieces everywhere. I found pieces of that piston on tops of the pistons of every single other cylinder. It just imploded into pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that sucks. Man, I hope I don't have to deal with that anytime soon.
Yeah, again, Dio makes a good point in the chat there. The knowledge that I have, I can rebuild it myself. I got a new engine, I can rebuild a new one. So luckily, I'm easily probably saved myself quite a few $1,000s in repairs by the fact that I can do it myself.
Nice. All right, so is Scott with us? I know he had to go get some power. I don't know if he's.
I think he's still getting his cord.
Oh, weak. All right, well, we talked last week about the dick of the last 20 years.
Yes.
The prosecutor who knowingly withheld evidence and sent an innocent person who he knew was innocent to jail. And then he later became a judge. And last week he was sent to jail, sentenced to only 10 days, and he was released after 5 for good behavior.
5 days.
5 days.
5 days.
And
That was
a
so
$500
ridiculous.
fine and 500 hours of community service.
It is so ridiculous.
Right.
That was the thing that confused me. Is he got 10 days, but yet he gets out in 5 for good behavior. I understand you get time off for good behavior, but I have never seen a jail that cuts off half of your sentence for good behavior.
Well,
Maybe
I
a
guess
quarter.
it depends where it is. In California, they're cutting tons of time off.
Really?
Like, you look at all the celebrities and whatnot who have gone to jail. I mean, they get sentenced to,
special
180
privileges
days and they're out
payment.
in, 2 weeks.
but again, special privileges for celebrities
Right.
again, though.
But, well, I know here in New Hampshire, it's 2/3. So you can get out 2/3 of your sentence. So you can get a third off of it for good behavior. So.
Well, that's what I was thinking, somewhere a third or a quarter, but half in a matter of 5 days? That was ridiculous to me. Most of the time, like, I know up here in Spokane, we have our Geiger. I think you have to do, like, your first week before they even start counting that. You have to do, like, a week
and
of
this
good
is in
behavior
Texas.
before
You
you're
figure
even
they'd
eligible.
they wouldn't give any good behavior. I mean, they kill people left and right. So you figure Texas, no good behavior law on that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Very disappointed in the system down there myself.
Yeah, well, hopefully as time goes on and they look through all of his other cases, because the Innocent Project is gonna start combing through all of his stuff. Hopefully they find more so he can get charged with more stuff and just rack up the time.
Yeah.
Because 10 days does not seem like nearly enough for ruining people's lives. Especially one who was in for like 25 years. The guy that he sent to jail who was innocent, he sent him for murder for 25 years. He was in jail for the past 25 years. So
Yeah. No, I think he should have to do 25 years for that one. Like, you ruined 25 years of one man's life, you should have to ruin 25 of your years.
it's
Because
Scotty
he
back
ain't getting
with us
that
now.
back, so why should you have it?
And we're live.
All right. So
He's back.
right before we went live, you saw the thing about Charles Manson. Did you read it?
No, I was too busy looking for my laptop charger. Oh man, how weird is that? So weird.
Is that the story on RT? Because I glanced at something before my computer made me restart it.
Rolling Stone is where I saw it.
Oh, yeah?
Charles Manson apparently either is or has already gotten married to a 25-year-old.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
79.
79. Oh my god.
Damn.
Wow.
I hope I can do that when I'm 79.
Can they is she also like in jail?
No, she's been
Loyally visiting him since she was 19 and maintained several websites devoted to defending Manson and his pro-earth environmental causes. That girl's a fucking idiot.
no kidding, right?
I'm sorry, there's some stupid men out there, but woman, really? Come on.
Right. It says in 2007 she moved to be closer to him and started visiting him every Saturday and Sunday for up to 5 hours a day. They give 5 hours of visiting time per day? Wow,
Is that
that's
conjugal?
nuts.
What's that? Is that conjugal? Wow, I can't pronounce that right now.
Conjugal? I don't know.
There you go.
Is that legit? Is that a real thing? I haven't had any spiritual retreat visits, ever.
Yes, it is a real thing. I've
Really?
seen it on like National Geographic doing like prison whatever. But yes, apparently it does exist.
I'm curious if that's what they're getting.
I don't know. I'm trying to get. No, it says there won't be any because California lifers no longer get them.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
So,
he probably made a friend, though.
so if you're a lifer, you don't get the good visits.
No, you got to deal with your roomie.
So that was just a really screwed up story that you mentioned right before we went
It
live.
was like an eye catcher, just like right out. I'm like, what the hell? Charles Manson, 79 years old, getting it done. Man, she must be as crazy as him.
Probably, if she moved to be near him.
At 19. Like, can't she like sit at home and drink like everybody else when they're 19, or sit around and smoke weed? Instead, you're devoting your life to a man you'll never. Oh man,
A guy who kills people,
yeah.
or orders people to kill people.
Anyone who has a swastika tattoo on their body is probably someone that you should avoid. Those are some deep thoughts there.
Oh, dude! Before I left Columbus, I had a fish tank sitting in my garage that I had to get rid of, so I just threw it up on Craigslist for free, and I dropped it off at this guy's house. Well, his wife wanted it, and he comes out and he has a swastika under one eye and an SS under the other tattooed. I'm like, oh, I'm in the wrong fucking neighborhood.
You should have been like L'chaim.
Like when I drove down that road, I already knew I was in the wrong neighborhood, but for a totally different reason. I wonder what his neighbors think.
They probably think they're in the wrong neighborhood.
It's like this guy does not belong in this particular neighborhood. But yeah, it was really fucked up.
Love it.
So I gave my fish tank to some Nazis.
I haven't seen anything like that recently. Just some bizarre, like, facial piercings and like people who have like Confederate flag tattoos and stuff like that. I'm like, we're in Pennsylvania, you know. We're not down south. You can't use that as an excuse. I don't understand what your problem is and why you now have that on your body. I mean, if you want to, that's cool, but consider yourself judged.
All right. So
Anyway.
are there any stories that you wanted to talk about this week?
What was the one that they just posted up in the chat that I know we were talking about before the show?
Oh, the minivan.
Oh my God! All right. Go ahead.
You posted that one actually.
They posted it up in the chat. So I'm trying to remember where it was. It was in New Mexico, I think. And
Tennessee. Oh no, it's a Tennessee woman was on vacation.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, she was. And it sounded almost like she was like on some sort of trip, like educational trip with her kids. And she gets pulled over and it just goes downhill from there. And everybody starts making the wrong decisions. And, at one point she actually like leaves and then the guy pulls her over again and her son is like in and out of the car. It was just insane, like this chain of events. And then, obviously, whenever one can't do the job, they have to call in reinforcements. So, the reinforcements are always already driving 100 miles an hour to get there with their lights on. And then, they're always the first ones to pull their guns out. And this dude he shows up as backup and just pulls his gun out and just starts cranking rounds into this thing. And she had like a couple kids in there, like 4 or 5 kids in the vehicle.
She had
and
5 children in the minivan.
Yeah, they were like, I think it was like the youngest one was like 6 and the oldest one was like 18. So, I mean, there's like a range of children in here, any of one of which could have been struck by a bullet by an irresponsible gun owner.
With a badge and a costume.
Yes, and their hats are actually kind of funny too. Anyway, but the dude just like it's like they're trying to flee. They're trying to get away from you. So, your life must be in, dire, your life's being threatened. So you feel it necessary to pull your firearm out and discharge it, not knowing who or what is in the vehicle as the new guy on the scene. They chased her a little bit later. She pulled in front of like a hotel or something and gave herself up. And her and her son were both charged for who knows what. But, what about the reckless endangerment of the the cop. I'm not saying this woman made any right decisions because she didn't do anything to help herself out. You know, she was, I don't want to say she was non-cooperative because I don't think that she really had anything to cooperate about, but, you know, she made wrong choices, but her wrong choices led to the discharge of a firearm directed at her and at 6 people who had hurt nobody.
On a highway that was not deserted.
Right.
So who knows who else he could have hit.
Yeah.
Who was he protecting in this particular case? No one, last I checked.
The mother is charged with child abuse and fleeing. Fleeing is a felony. Well, at least in Pennsylvania, fleeing is a felony. Misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yeah, but of course the cop's not going to get anything, is he?
Well, they haven't even released the guy's name yet.
Oh, well, that's good.
Take a guess. It's under investigation. Oh, man. Couldn't have guessed that.
I know.
Hold on while we look at
ourselves. This is like a textbook example of why you don't pursue. This would be a perfect scenario on don't pursue it. Deal with it later. But somebody obviously had poor judgment about that. Adam.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Oh, no, I'm all right.
He's in the mining gig.
You got it.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, it's completely ridiculous that they would fire shots at a minivan that has kids in it.
I think it's just, you know, it's become such commonplace for, like, I'd like to see the statistics on the number of police interactions that do and do not end in the discharge of a firearm. Because remember we talked about a couple of weeks ago at how, I think it was in like Germany or something like that, they had fired a total of like 36 rounds at people in a year. All the cops in the whole country. Now, Germany obviously is a smaller country, but, you know, 36, something like that. Or was it 36 or 81? I can't remember.
It was like under 100, I know that.
It was double digits. And, you know, there's cases of single officers, you know, typically, you know, they carry Glocks, you know, obviously probably with this, like, 15-round mag, and they're reloading and continuing to fire.
Right, well, that's just like that chase in Cleveland. 137 shots were fired. And with the number of people who are actually on scene, somebody, at least 2 people, had to have reloaded to continue shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they wouldn't have had enough bullets to if they just emptied their gun. But, I mean, that's just one incident. And in one incident, there were more shots fired in one incident than all of Germany.
For 1 year.
For 1 year.
Yep.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
But I'm curious how many times cars get fired at for just leaving. Like, they're not actually harming anybody or putting anybody in harm at the time. It's usually the subsequent chase that follows that causes harm.
Usually.
Yeah, I mean, I was down in Maryland the one day, and it was like, I don't know, it was like I went into like the twilight zone, and I'm like driving down this road in like a bad section of town. It's the middle of the day, you know, and in one block I see a grossly overweight man with a badge standing, and like 50 yards down the road, in the middle of the road, there's what I would appear to be a homeless person, possibly a crackhead, doing the moonwalk in the roadway. And it's like another 50 yards down the road, here's like 3 kids on dirt bikes popping wheelies, like driving through, you know, in and out of cars and through the grass, and the cop just, you know, stands there. And apparently they have, you know, a do not chase ordinance in the city.
I've heard of that down there, actually.
I mean, good for the kids, I guess, but I guess they saw the liability aspect, and maybe they made the right decision.
Right. I mean, I would say if it's not stolen, or if you happen to know who the suspect is, unless there is an immediate threat that they are on their way to do something, violent, then I would say leave it alone and get them later.
But
It
then
makes
how
no
do they
sense.
get medals?
Right. What was the story? Sorry, what was the story you were just saying before that? Oh, yeah. Of course, then they want to go after the moneymakers as well. So that's kind of traffic stops is like the biggest moneymaker for the police department.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, violent crime doesn't make them any money. Like if they stop a murderer or stop somebody who beat somebody up, they don't get any money out of that. But traffic tickets.
Yeah,
those bring in the dough.
I'm gonna try to find it here. I have a friend who actually works for a small town police department as like a dispatcher or some low level position, and I'm the kind of person that if I see a extortion area, i.e. road speed trap, I tell my friends about it because I don't want my friends to lose any money because they work hard. And as long as they don't hurt anybody, I don't see why they should have to give anybody else their money because they already give enough through taxation. And my friend must have just had enough of it, and they felt it necessary to start the conversation with me about it. And they were talking about how this is how they catch people who are, who have expired registrations and people who have warrants out and people who, and just like went on. And I'm like, but these are victimless crimes. Like, you shouldn't have to pay for those. Like, that's bullshit. You don't understand the fact that I don't agree with it. And they just, like, it blew their mind that I felt that if there wasn't a victim that, there should be no crime and I shouldn't have my life interfered in any way by the police because it's a benefit to them to catch somebody. That doesn't affect me. That's not part of my life. So why should I be the one who's inconvenienced because you don't want to do a little bit of police work?
I know what happened to doing police work. Nobody does police work.
Yeah, that person was definitely what I would consider butthurt. It was I agree with you to a certain point, but it becomes a victim crime when someone gets hurt because they're speeding or perhaps lost control. The bonus of speed traps, though, is a significant number of criminals with warrants are taken off the streets. Oh, and then they brought in the bullshit war on drugs. Oh, you silly idiot. Still love them.
Yeah, I love how how they justify in their mind that pre-crime is legitimate.
Yeah.
It's like because they were speeding, they might hurt somebody. Well, if they don't, then who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just ended the conversation entirely, and I was like, the end will never justify the means, ever.
Mm-mm. Not a chance.
No. I was like, sometimes it's just difficult.
I mean, because that's all we're talking about is pre-crime in this case. I could see if it was a particularly dangerous place to do certain speed, like through downtown here, it would probably be extremely unsafe to drive 70 miles an hour down Main Street in an area that is definitely not designed to handle 70 miles an hour. But, out on these back roads that are straight and all that stuff, why is it 40 miles an hour even though you could easily go 60 and not have a problem? It's kind of dumb.
That's one way to put it.
That's why I love Utah. The speed limit on the freeway there, out of town, is 80 miles an hour. It's beautiful.
I mean, that's basically how
genius.
fast people drive around here anyways. Really, in this area, you got a 25% rule. You can pretty much do 25% over the speed limit anywhere, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, we have to head to the break. After the break, there is more Cop Block Radio. So stick with us. You're listening to FPRN.
In 1997, a high school shooting was stopped by a vice principal with a gun. In 1998, a middle school shooting was ended by a neighbor with a gun. In 2002, a terrorist attack was stopped by a school guard and a teacher with a gun. After September 11th, pilots began carrying guns to protect their passengers. Let's give our schools and teachers the same option. Sign the petition at defendschools.com.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore. Due to the recent revelations that in order to fight terrorism, the NSA has been using a secret court order to spy on every single Verizon and AT&T customer, Americans have become outraged and concerned about their rights to privacy. But along with that concern comes a feeling of hopelessness. I mean, what can we do? Vote in new leaders? Well, the problem is that during an election, each candidate pretends to not be an asshole. Then when they get the job, they reveal that they've actually been a complete asshole this entire time. No, elections are of no use. The only way to fight back against our country's excessive wiretapping and data mining is to make it irrelevant. That's why we're launching Operation Everyone Talk Like a Terrorist all the time. If we all openly discuss terrorist plots in each of our phone conversations, then eavesdropping on those phone conversations becomes pointless. It's simple. We just need to work it into our daily vernacular. For example, instead of saying, "I love you," you could describe a terror attack. The larger the scale, the more you love the person.
Hi, Mom. I just got out of school. Can you pick me up?
I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'm gonna use a truck bomb to blow up the Brooklyn Bridge.
I'm mailing anthrax to Piers to Morgan.
Or nonsense about God's will being great could mean affirmative.
Hey man, they have a 7:30 show, and do you think you can make it in time?
God is merciful and his love is unchanging. Did you already get me a ticket?
And those are just a few examples. You can make up your own. Have fun with it. But it's time for us to stand up and protect our rights. Because those assholes aren't going to.
At Damari Nolo Outfitters, we view the outdoors as our home, not a harsh wilderness. Our gear is chosen for adventure, not just in our backyard, but in the vast expanse of our amazing planet. Damari Nolo Outfitters carries the essential gear and tools you will need to live the empowering mindset of self-reliance. Our products are chosen especially for their durability and quality and are carefully tested by our staff and associates. Our promise to you is we never offer any item for sale we don't use ourselves, so we can offer only what we know to be the best. Our online store makes it simple to browse through our high-quality lines of clothing, knives, tools, load carry gear, and accessories. We are committed to offering you the best American-made equipment on the market, a promise you'll see as we continually add new products. For more information about our products and blog posts to help you learn more about self-reliance and equipment, please visit www.damarinolo.com. That's DOMARI-NOLO.com. Damari Nolo, chosen for survival and adventure.
Hi, I'm Steve.
I'm Irene. I'm Lisa.
My name is Tom.
I'm a graphic designer,
college freshman, stay-at-home mom with a full-time job,
scholar on social policy, and a barista.
And I'm just like you.
I'm an Obama supporter.
I support President Obama.
But the president needs your help.
Our president can't launch into another war without you. And remember, we promise to support him no matter what.
Together, we can do it.
That's why we here at the Americans for Whatever Barack Obama Wants, Did You Know He's Friends with Jay-Z, have launched a Kickstarter campaign to fund World War III.
And America is dead-ass broke, so our goal is to raise $1.6 trillion on behalf of the U.S. government.
That's where you come in.
Even a small donation would make all the difference.
When I first saw the president speak in 2008, in a YouTube clip posted to my Facebook page, I knew he was going to be right all the time. So I support World War III and IV and any moon war the president may want to start.
I mean, there is no way that he or the cabal of corporate interests, spy agencies, and shadow bankers that tell him what to do would ever mislead us. A $25 donation will get you a piece of rubble from a war-torn Middle Eastern country kissed by Senator Lindsey Graham.
A $100 donation gets you a day pass to leave your local refugee camp.
You'll probably end up in a refugee camp, but it'll have free Wi-Fi.
So please, help us reach our goal of $1.6 trillion so we can make World War III a reality. Why? Because Obama.
Because Obama.
Oh God, please help me. He's got a knife. You have reached the 911 emergency service. All operators are busy. Please stay on the line for the next available emergency operator. You have reached the 911 emergency service. All operators are busy. Please stay on...
911 operator, what's your emergency, please? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Last year in the United States, thousands and thousands of 911 calls went unanswered. And if you call from a cell phone, there's no way to pinpoint where you are. Yet politicians like Dianne Feinstein call for more gun control. We have one question. Why do these politicians have armed bodyguards? Can't they just call 911?
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, advertise with us, or donate to the network or to your favorite shows, check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.
And we are back on the Copblock Radio Show live on FPRN and syndicated across the interwebs, or you can download it as a podcast after the show at fprnradio.com. If you just go to our show page specific to the Copblock Radio Show, you can download it there. And usually about the afternoon of the next day, I'll get the show notes up on copblock.org, but you can also link to that through the link on FPRN Radio as well. And since we do this show live, you can call in and talk about what's going on in your neck of the woods if you would like. And Scotty, give out that the number for us.
Hey, at least I'm good for something. It's 567-314-9296. Then hit 1234 and the pound sign. Or you can Skype in, and the Skype name is FPRN Radio Live. And that's definitely a way better connection. Even contrary to how Eric's mic has been tonight, it's a better way to get a hold of us.
My mic, what happened?
Dude, it was
right at the beginning.
Freaky out. It was like freaking out again.
All right. Well, it didn't happen to me in my end, so I'm good. So this came up in the chat, but we had already had it in our show prep as well. I figured we'd talk about it, about the parent who is arrested while trying to pick up their kid from school.
Can I say something?
Go for it.
How awesome that this guy was arrested in track pants.
I know, it was great. This guy's huge, too.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
So
you want to get into it? Okay.
Yeah, so in... What state is this out of? I just see Cumberland County. I don't know what state it's out of. Tennessee. A father walked into the school to pick up his child after school was let out, and they would not release his child to him because he didn't follow the new procedure that was for people to pick up their kid was to wait in this long line of cars to, one by one pick up their kids. The problem was he wasn't in the car. He was on foot. He was picking up his child in foot, and this line is in the middle of the friggin' road. So was he actually supposed to stand there in the car line in the road without a car?
Did he,
and then,
he just happen to walk up to get the kid? Does he live close by or what?
Yeah, that was the case, and they were trying to get him to sign a paper that said it was okay to release the children, that they could walk home, and he wouldn't sign the paper because he didn't want them walking home by themselves, which is what the paper said was an unsupervised walk home. And he's like, no, I'm here to pick up my kids so they can walk home with me. But the paper that they were trying to get him to sign said that they could let the kids walk home on their own, and he didn't want to do that. And obviously he's just picking up his kids, but the policy says you have to wait in this long car line, but he's on foot, so wouldn't that no longer apply to him? And it just kind of went downhill from there. There's actually a video of the exchange, so you can go watch it. It's extremely interesting.
Yeah. So did you notice, like, whenever they were talking at the very beginning of the video, he makes a phone call and he's trying to call like the sheriff or whatever, but I guess the guy's busy, and whoever he's talking to, he just lets them know, like at the very end, if you pick up on it, he says something about how, okay, I'm just going to proceed with what we discussed. So he knew it was going to be a problem from the get-go. So he was smart enough to know, hey, I better talk to somebody beforehand. So he knew exactly what he was doing.
Right.
Well,
and I think it's ridiculous how they treated the guy. I mean, he's just there to pick up his kids, but he's not in a car, so why would he wait in the middle of the friggin' road with the cars? That makes no sense.
There's a little bit more to it than that. Basically, the way the school wrote the policy is, I'm not agreeing with it at all, but I just wanted to define this a little more. The policy they wrote, basically, they had an overload of people trying to come get their kids out of school early because these people didn't want to wait in line to pick up their kids. Because we have large schools here in Spokane where you go to pick up your kids, there's a lot of people there to pick up their kids. And so you end up sitting there forever trying to get in line to come up to the front of the school to get your kids from the front of the school and get them in your car to leave. And so basically what the school did, people were trying to come in early, pull their kids out of class early before school was actually released so they could get in and out of there before the huge line. And so the school made a policy saying you can't come get them after 2 o'clock. You have to wait until 2:35 if you're going to come get them early. If you're going to come get them early, you have to get them before 2 so that we don't have a whole bunch of people coming into school trying to get kids out of school early. And so basically his argument is, I shouldn't have to wait till 2:30, and I shouldn't have to wait in line. You can't keep me from coming and getting my kids from 2 to 2:30. That's not your right. If I want to come get my kid between 2 and 2:30, you need to give me my kid. You aren't the parent. You don't get to keep my children from me. It was basically his argument. He was trying to prove a point with that. Is what's going on in this situation.
Right, and it's stupid. Like I can understand that they don't want the cars in this particular area where the buses line up to take kids home.
Yeah.
But why couldn't they just say you can't your cars can't be in this area? You can still come and pick up your kid, but you can't park in this area where the buses are going to be.
Well, it seems like a cop-out on the school's part to the fact where they don't want to deal with that many people. So they're going to make a rule that you can't come in at that time and get your kid, is what it sounds like to me. The school doesn't want to deal with that many people. And I'm like, well, get over yourself. That's what you're there for.
Right. So I don't. This is kind of one of those examples of a rule that's put in place to alleviate one problem that just creates another one.
Yeah.
Like, it always ends up making stuff worse when really all they had to do is say cars can't be in this one area. Yeah. It has nothing to do with picking up the kids. Unless it really does, then they are so full of crap and overstepping their
babysitting rights.
In case of nothing to do, break glass and clean it up.
Right, exactly. So, don't send your kid to public school.
Dead answer right there. Done and said. Take your child out of that school if you're that worried about it.
See the thing going around with Matt Damon this week? Oh, there's something going around. Matt Damon said he'd eat a shoe if somebody could tell him if any Bush children went to public school, which a bunch of them did. So yeah, but of course, when asked, he doesn't send his kids to public school, yet he is advocating for public school. But he doesn't send his kids to public school. He sends them to private school.
That sounds like some sort of gun control advocate. Protecting themselves with
bodyguards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or
I don't need guns. My bodyguards have them.
Or doctors that push vaccines and don't vaccinate their own children. There's many topics we could get into that with.
That would be a first on that particular one. I don't think I've heard that one before.
You haven't heard that one?
No.
Oh, I could show you lots.
That's
another subject, though.
One who advocates but doesn't actually do.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
My question would be like, now we're getting way off topic here.
Yeah, I'm saying that's another discussion later. But
so I'm not a chemtrail guy by any means, but wouldn't it be counterproductive if they were doing these things while they lived in the same country?
Right.
Wouldn't that be counterproductive? Just saying. Moving on.
I know that's one of the ones I hate. It's the stupidest thing. It's like, really? They live on the planet too. They're really freaking stupid if that's the case.
Well, we've proven there are a lot of stupid people.
Yeah, I think I work with 90% of them.
Just follow orders. Come on, people just follow orders.
They're a special part of stupid. All right.
So, right before the show, you were talking about something about Pennsylvania and DNA.
Yeah, so I saw like a quick little blurb about like if you've seen it in other states. I know that down in Texas they had this thing where people were being pulled over and stopped by like the police, state police down there or whatever, and they were taking blood and saliva, and I'm not sure if they were doing hair too, but the Pennsylvania House cleared this DNA testing bill. Now it doesn't seem to be as extensive as, just pulling people over. It has more to do with people who are, criminals or currently incarcerated or, something like that. But it just, like, I don't know, it just boggles my mind that, we actually have to have these conversations about DNA now. And when it's okay and when it's not okay to take samples of your DNA. I don't know. I don't know. It just blows my mind that this is what's going on. This is what, these are the conversations that are being had. We're talking about, like, don't we have more important shit to spend money on than collecting people's DNA?
We do. The government doesn't.
Yeah, I keep lumping myself in that. Sorry. Thanks for correcting me, though.
I have a lot better things to spend my money on than this crap, but the government shoves a gun down my throat and says, pay me. So I have to hand over my money, which actually my employer has to hand over my money, which freaking sucks.
So did you see the thing that there was a guy that had his bank account frozen by the IRS this week, and he was friends with Chris Cantwell, who was an anarchist, atheist asshole, and Chris was talking about how, if you're not making a lot of money and you just ignore the IRS, they're not really going to pursue it to any certain extent, because to them, if they harass you, you'll either one, comply, or two, they'll just keep harassing you, but they won't really, put that much effort into it just because of, what's the gain for them. So it was kind of an interesting way of looking at it. But I know, like, people like Larkin Rose, like, he spent how many years in jail, but he's also, very, very outspoken against the establishment.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the post right now. It's actually Wes.
Okay.
Wes,
Ly Spooner.
Wes Lysander, but yeah,
that's it.
Whatever. But yeah, he said that the IRS froze his bank account and I think a credit card. And when he called the bank, they told him that they were not allowed. They weren't allowed the access to the reason why. So the bank wasn't told why. So they couldn't tell him why his accounts were frozen.
Did he? I mean, do you know where he stands? Did he ever figure it out, or how do they? I don't know. How do they know that? Like, do they get a phone call like, "Hey, this is Joe Schmo down at the IRS. We're gonna have to ask you to freeze that stuff. Thanks." How does that work?
Yeah, apparently, so farther down in it, he says, actually, the IRS started a new program this year where they're apparently allowed to do this now. He's just reading about it. He's trying to find the link. Let's see if he linked it any farther down. But yeah, he said that the IRS started a new program this year where they're apparently allowed to do this now. He's just reading about it. He's trying to find the link. Let's see if he linked it any farther down. But yeah, he said that the IRS started a new program this year where they're apparently allowed to do this now. He's just reading about it. He's trying to find the link. Let's see if he linked it any farther down. But yeah. He says he doubts it has anything to do with taxes. And I don't think I have any unpaid taxes, but my account is frozen. Visa, I called Visa. They told me I could never do business with them again. And then forward it to the bank who actually issued the card, and they were told they weren't allowed access to the reason why the account was canceled. So yeah, it's still ongoing as of 23 hours ago. There hasn't been an update, so.
Is this like some NDAA shit going on, or what?
Who the hell knows? Apparently the IRS can freeze your shit, and you can't know why.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't feel you should have any money, so we're not going to let you have any. Well, all the more reason to not use Federal Reserve notes.
Where's my Swiss bank account when I need it?
That's right.
Or whatever other foreign nation is cool with
holding my money.
Holding my money and not letting the U.S. government screw with them.
That's right.
Jeez.
So did you see the stuff out of Fort Worth that has to kind of do with what you were discussing a minute ago?
The DNA, yeah. I saw the headline. I didn't read heavily into it. I know Alabama, they had the no refusal checkpoints, and if you refused, they took you downtown, strapped you to a gurney. Even if you were cooperative at that point, they strapped you down to steal your blood for whatever reason.
Well, this one's even more asinine, in my opinion. This one is these officers, literally, Tuesday, off-duty officers set up a checkpoint on a busy street Friday, ordering motorists off the road at random to collect samples for a nationwide federal survey of alcohol and drug-impaired driving. Motorists were asked to pull into the parking lot and give a cheek swab and volunteer for a blood or breath test. Those who agreed received $10 to $50, depending on what they did.
That is fucked up.
They were paying them for it.
I don't want to pay anybody for their spit. That's my money.
Yeah, where's this money coming from? Does it say where they got the money?
Well, not only that, they're using off-duty officers. And I'm like, so if these officers are off-duty, then they're not held to any sort of standard, then they can, blatantly break the law, right?
According to the federal agency, let's see, I'm trying to find the agency that was actually part of the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. They responded to a request from CNN and said that there was $7.9 million or seven. It says it has a dollar sign next to it, but then it says 7.9 million surveys takes 3 years to organize and compile. So I think whoever wrote this didn't proofread. So either it's $7.9 million and 3 years to organize. That's what I'm assuming they meant to say. But according to them, they say it all samples remain anonymous. DNA is not exactly anonymous.
Yeah, a cheek swab isn't the most completely anonymous swab.
Why would you, and what would you need a cheek swab for anyways, other than DNA? You can't get anything else from it. I don't think you could do a drug test and stuff on it.
I have no idea.
So what the hell do they need a cheek swab for?
To know who
other
you
than
are.
To gather DNA, which
well, then they know if you were driving
anonymous.
impaired or not, and whether or not to watch you more often.
Jeez. No figure. Well, obviously they're going to do this in Alabama because they don't know what a cheek swab is actually for. So,
no,
that's my guess.
That's just crazy though. They're paying them. It reminds me of the gun buybacks. It's more waste of tax dollars' money for stupid shit.
Right. Oh, but yeah, I saw it. I didn't go heavily into it, but yeah, I had seen it, so we'll see.
It seems like they just keep trying to just sneak little shit in, just more and more and more.
Someone posted this in the chat. Dio did. Did you? open one of his links about the Ohio hidden compartment law.
I did. I have it right here in front of me.
That is messed up. I've heard of this
That is crazy.
in other places. I've heard of it in Texas, and I believe California as well, that they have this law.
Mm-hmm.
But now apparently Ohio, and this is the first person who's been arrested for having a hidden compartment in their car.
It's baffling to me. He didn't even have anything on him. They flat out admit he had no drugs on him. He had nothing. They had no reason to search his shit. But they found this, and they're claiming it could carry several pounds of drugs. They don't say what drugs. But, again, there wasn't any drugs in it. But it could hold several pounds of drugs.
Right, so what the hell?
It could also hold
now
several
it is
pounds
a
of my
felony
groceries,
to
too.
have a hidden compartment in your car.
What if it's where I want to hide my extra gun?
Exactly.
I'm legally carrying.
Or anything. What if I want to put my groceries in there? I'd like to store my pop back there so nobody steals it.
Yeah, or, I could see
Valuables,
this
like a iPad.
Exactly, definitely in like a pickup truck or something, putting it right behind the back seat. Well, that's where I put my laptop when I am not in my car because I don't want it laying on my seat, and I can't stick it in the trunk because it will get rained on and stolen because there's nothing holding anybody back from getting my stuff out of the bed of my truck.
Yeah. The producer makes a good point. The fact that in the drug bust, when they seize these asset forfeiture and seize these cars and then auction them off, what if you buy one of these cars and it has a secret compartment and you didn't know?
Right, they're selling off a car that then now they can bust that person.
They can bust you again and asset forfeiture again and resell it.
It's perpetual. Yeah, exactly.
It's like a revolving door.
That's crazy. It's just baffling to me that the fact that they could actually search his car and arrest him with nothing, no problem, other than the fact that he had a hidden compartment and there might be something in it. And the way I look at it, a hidden compartment, that's my glove box. It locks. Shut up, go away.
Right. It's like that's where I put my valuable crap because I don't want it stolen, you douchebag.
Yeah, I don't understand how they can make a law and justify having a hidden compartment illegal. You can't have a hidden compartment. Well, you can't have one either then. Because I'm sure they have one too.
A friend of mine bought a car from a car auction once, from a police auction, and he was driving it around for about a week, and the engine kept stalling out. And he figured out there was something getting stuck in the gas line. And they scoped it and found $5,000 worth of cash in the gas tank.
Are you serious? Was it still
good?
good?
There's your problem.
Was it still good?
Yeah. Well, the bank just took it and, obviously they had to destroy it because it was covered in gas. But he got the.
He actually got the money out of it.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
still
good. It's still legal tender. So
that's about the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, so word to the wise, if you buy a car at a police auction, you should thoroughly go through it before you drive it off the lot. Because if they missed $5,000 in the gas tank, and
what else
later they don't miss 2 kilos of Coke in the gas tank, you might be up a creek at some point.
Yes.
And now with these hidden compartments, who knows what they're going to do with the cars that have
it's got a hidden compartment. Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, that is one of the dumbest laws I've ever heard of.
It's ridiculous.
But I know it's that way in Texas and California and probably Arizona as well. Probably all 3 of those states have hidden compartment laws.
I just hate this quote in this article. It just sounds like the officers just being just rude and just snotty about the whole thing.
Which quote?
It's basically, he says, they're talking about the trooper arrested 30-year-old Norman who didn't have any drugs on it, but it didn't matter because in Ohio, just driving a trap car is now a felony. And he says, without the hidden compartment law, we wouldn't have any charges on the suspect.
It's because he didn't do anything freaking wrong, you douchebag.
Exactly. He did nothing.
Oh, well. We have to go to break. After the break, there is more. So you're listening to the Cop Block Radio Show on FPRN.
Like a moment of blindness and a lifetime of sight, and I am cold.
Mr. President, members of Congress, you've been making a lot of noise about taking our guns away. But you might want to review history. 1835, Gonzales, Texas Territory. The authorities wanted to confiscate the big gun that protected that colony. You know what the people said? Come and take it. Because they were willing to fight for their freedom and their guns. So are we.
Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but I warn you, you'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands. We want the freedom that God gave us, so you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it.
One shot at a time. Just like Gonzales, we're keeping our guns.
What's better than silver? Free silver, of course, which is what you'll get by partaking in Sons of Liberty Mint's weekly silver giveaways. It's fun, it's easy, and it's your chance to win 4 fine silver quarters. That's 1 ounce of .999 fine silver from Sons of Liberty Mint. All you have to do is guess the close of spot price each week for your chance to win. Visit sonsoflibertymint.com/contest for more details. That's SUNS, sonsoflibertymint.com. Paper money just doesn't get you what it used to, and we want to be prepared for a possible economic collapse, so visit sonsoflibertymint.com. They specialize in usable, divisible silver. Their signature product, the fine silver quarter, is the world's best bartering tool. Its unique design, shape, size make these 1/4 ounce .999 fine silver bars a must-have addition to silver stackers everywhere. Don't wait to wish you had usable silver. Head over to SUNSoflibertymint.com and load up on silver you can use today.
Obamacare. Fun. Cool. YOLO. At Obamacare, we believe in saying the words affordable health care so that young people will love us and sign up like lemmings. Sure, you pay 2.5% of your income in penalties, but young people don't have to worry about that because you don't have a job. Work sucks. That's why we at Obamacare want to trade your full-time job for a part-time one. So you'll have more time for fun things, like watching millionaire celebrities tweet about how affordable we are. Obamacare. Just like guys enjoy premium leather seats, so too you'll enjoy paying triple the healthcare premiums out of your new part-time salary. Speaking of guys, ever been on a mandate before? At Obamacare, we're full of mandates. But don't worry, big corporations get exempt, so you don't have to. It's fun paying for things you don't even use. Yeah, you work out, stay healthy. But come on, brah. Someone's got to pay for people who smoke, drink 85-ounce sodas, and live in a Barca lounger. So enjoy your premium hikes, young people of America, because everyone loves hikes. Obamacare. If millionaire celebrities can afford us, why can't you? A message from the White House Office of Obamacare. Propaganda to get young people to love us and sign up like lemmings.
Do you have a group or organization founded on the principles of personal liberty, health freedom, or accountable government? We invite you to check out Same Side Entertainment. Same Side is a source for activists and liberty organizations to connect with well-known leaders in today's growing movement for sustainable living, personal liberty, and sovereignty issues. Same Side has a variety of keynote speakers, debate panels, interactive web presentations, musicians, and liberty-based entertainment, as well as services for web design, graphic design, video, and photography. Same Side can help customize your event by connecting you to the best of the liberty and political world while staying within your budget. Get connected with leaders in the liberty movement like Tom Woods, Kevin Gutzman, Jack Hunter, Robert Scott Bell, Bob Murphy, Michael Scheuer, John Bush, Jordan Page, Tatiana Moroz, and many more. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our website at www.samesideentertainment.com. Again, that's www.samesideentertainment.com. Same Side Entertainment, connecting you with the education and resources you need.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, advertise with us, or donate to the network or to your favorite shows, check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.
And welcome back to the Cop Block Radio Show live on FPRN and syndicated across the interwebs. And I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Sons of Liberty Mint, here up in Laconia, New Hampshire. They make silver quarters, which are nice because sometimes you don't want to barter with an entire ounce of silver. So they got nice 1/4 ounce pieces, and they have 1 ounce pieces. Either they are out now or they're just about to come out. I will have to check, but that's Sons of Liberty, SUNS, mint.com. So sonsoflibertymint.com, and that's with a U, not an O. And you should really check it out. Do you guys have any other quarters?
No, I was actually talking to a demo this week about some other stuff.
The hell was that?
I don't know. Our producer's getting happy back behind the the wall of mystery. No, I was talking to a demo this week about some other stuff, and he was trying to help out the guys at Copblock.org and sell some Bitcoin off, but I don't know where they stood with that. He had like 2 or 4, through donations and stuff like that. They were trying to get rid of, but I don't know since the price went back down.
Yeah, yes, they have 1 ounce. They have 1 ounce pieces now as well. So they have the quarters and the 1 ounce pieces. And sometimes they have some other stuff available as well. Like, I know he was selling some silver eagles and some maple leaves, and they had some gold pieces recently. So they sell some other stuff too when they get it. If you follow their Facebook, they have a weekly contest and whatnot. So you should really check them out. Where do we want to go?
Support the Copblock.org weekly contest too.
Yes. You want to explain that contest? Because I'm not totally up on what it is.
All right, so basically the Copblock.org content contest, I believe, or submit content contest. I forget exactly what it's called. But basically, it's a weekly contest on the Copblock.org site. Basically, you submit your story or a story you know about and do a write-up and a follow-up, or however you want to do it. You submit a story to Copblock, your own personal story, friend's story, however you'd like to do it. And basically they will pick the best story of the week, and if you win, you get some free Copblock.org swag from the store, and also you get I believe, one of those quarter pieces from the Sons of Liberty Mint as well with your winnings.
Very nice.
It's a pretty sweet contest. You guys make sure you're submitting stories to them and getting it out, and it gets it around for everybody to see.
I don't know what else we want to talk about this week. We talked about the dick of the past 20 years, arrested for picking up your kid at school, getting some cheek swabs on the side of the road just for simply driving down the road. That's not cool. Scott, you posted about San Francisco and their gun mag legislation or whatever ordinance that they passed.
Yeah, so I don't know what California's deal is, and
they suck.
That's pretty good there.
They just do stupid shit. I swear, I think that it was California and frickin' Mayor Bloomberg just had who can pass the dumbest, most ridiculous laws. Just it was almost like a dick measuring contest. But anyway, California was the ones that were going door to door several months ago, and I think they'd been doing it for a year or two before it really came out, that they were going door to door and finding people who were through the court system deemed to be
no longer eligible to own a firearm.
Yes, and they were going door to door and taking people's guns. And there was actually one instance where there was they must have interviewed an officer, and he was saying how he felt bad that he had to take a gun from a dude that was basically homeless, and it was a freaking like 22 rifle, and the guy said he's like, I use this to kill squirrels to eat them. And guess what? That cocksucker took it. Like, you're a bad person. You are morally a bad person. Like, that's all the dude's got. Like, he lives in a box, and you took his only, like, what about self-defense? What about eating? Apparently, your family, your retirement fund is more important than that, as usual.
Wow. Basically, the guy's only means of survival there. He's using it to eat and using it to protect himself. You take it away, what's he got? Nothing.
He's like, the guy was like saying how he felt bad about doing it, but it was the right thing to say. You felt bad about doing it, but you
somehow
still
was the right
followed
thing
the
to
orders.
do.
So anyway, they put this ban on. This is in San Francisco, and of course, it was unanimously approved. It imposes a confiscatory ban on magazines that hold 10 rounds of ammo or more. That is insane. Like 10 rounds,
and it's retroactive.
Yeah, so if you already have legally purchased these things, you have 90 days to comply, which means you have 90 days to come here and turn them in and give them to us, because we don't think that you should have something that carries 10 rounds. Like, I don't know, pretty much any Glock.
Most pistols, right?
yeah, like, are you serious? 10 rounds? Like, that's nothing. That's like the New York ban on, 8 rounds, because that 8th bullet is just so dangerous.
If you randomly shoot all over the place, that 8th round could potentially hit someone.
Yeah, I mean, see, one thing that, like, they're saying that if you don't comply by, February 6th, that it'll be an arrestable offense. So you can be arrested, and you would face misdemeanor charges. But I don't see how they could, this is one of those ones where it wouldn't be a bad idea to fall on the sword if you had, the proper backing, just to get this thing.
How are they going to know?
What's that?
Magazines. How are they going to know you have magazines over 10 rounds?
I don't know.
They're going to stop.
Probably already had to register them at some point.
Oh, do they require registration of magazines there?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Wasn't thinking about that. Don't do that here. So, well, they don't do it here. So if they do it somewhere else, I feel bad for those guys.
I mean, they've already done. There's already videos out there showing experienced shooters that the magazine restriction doesn't actually slow them down at all. And even an unexperienced shooter only added 1 second onto being able to fire off 15 rounds. It's not. It's not exactly a big deal.
Okay, so I drop that magazine and I load in another full one. Now what?
Right, and this is something I had never seen before, but I'm guessing it came up in some sort of training of this particular guy who is shooting, which was a genius idea. If you are an experienced shooter, you keep track of how many bullets you've already shot. And what he was doing, he was dropping the mag with the last round in the chamber, so he didn't actually have to drop the slide after the last round was shot. He just kept shooting. So that, as with any law that comes to pass, there's always exceptions, which are my favorite part. So let's take a guess on who may or may not be exempt. Government officer, agent, or employee, member of the Armed Forces of the United States, or peace officer, to the extent that such person is otherwise authorized to possess large capacity magazine in connection with his or her official duties. My official duties are to protect myself and my loved ones.
So basically anyone involved with the state or government can have it, but you can't.
Yeah, so one of the cool things about this article is they talked about how people are being forced to hand over their property without compensation or face violent consequences, such as being kidnapped and caged, and you'd have charges against you. And they pretty much just laid out the fact that this is robbery. And they define robbery as the crime of taking or attempting to take something of value by force or threat of force, or by putting the victim in fear. Wow. Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, you're completely. Why aren't they doing magazine buybacks?
They're too busy spending the money on DNA tests.
That's right. Cheek swabs for money.
I mean, with crap, I forgot where I was even going to go with that.
I have no idea.
And I'm guessing in the statute for robbery, there isn't an exemption for government officials, is there? I'm wondering if there's no exemption for that. What? You can't take my stuff. It's right here.
Oh, but I can. I'm part of the state.
Right. I don't think that really freaking matters. Burying your mags probably wouldn't help very much. I don't know what you're going to do with that.
I actually saw a thing that talking about burying your mags, and they were saying how, like, if you think it's time to start burying guns, like, it's time to start carrying guns.
Oh.
Not that anybody on this network would exercise that right on a daily basis.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten my conceal permission slip yet. Back here.
Me either.
It's kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, but actually, they just changed it, so now the definition of a loaded firearm is actually the bullets have to be in the gun. Not just... That? There was some stupid definition that a loaded firearm was if you had the bullets and the gun with you, it was loaded, even if the bullets weren't actually in the gun.
So if I have the bullets in my pocket and the gun in my holster, that's loaded?
Something like that, yeah. There's something stupid like that. But now it's actually the bullets have to be in the gun, so really I could just carry a mag with me on and
opposite hip or whatever.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's like...
but it's only in a car that I have to worry about it. Once I'm out of a car, I could just open carry, and it wouldn't be a big deal.
So what, you're concealed? That's your concealed law there?
If you're in a car, you are concealed, regardless of how you actually are carrying it.
Oh, so you can't conceal carry in your car?
You can conceal... If you have the permit, then you can conceal carry in your car.
Oh, okay, you're talking about open carrying. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but really, all you could do is get around it by carrying a mag on one side and your firearm in the other, and you technically don't have a loaded firearm. And every statute in New Hampshire specifies and is loaded. So, really, I could conceal carry an unloaded firearm.
Yep.
Without their permission slip. So, really, I would actually be fine if I was carrying a mag and an empty firearm concealed. I'm technically within the law.
Yeah, but what are the chances of being able to put one hand in one pocket, the other hand in the other pocket, pull it out,
put it together,
load your mag, and rack one,
right?
Before something like that's kind of an unrealistic expectation. Whenever both your hands are in your pocket and you're trying to defend yourself,
right? It's kind of one of those things that you just kind of got to get the little permission slip, because I don't really want to deal with a felony. A felony gun charge. That doesn't go over very well. But hey.
So I see producer says we have Dio on the line. Dio, you there?
Yep.
What's up, man? What's going on?
Nothing. I was just because you're talking about the gun law and stuff like that, and concealed carry and stuff. Talk about knives. You can't, like in Ohio especially, there's no in the revised code, there's no law says anything about knives. It's like governed by each individual city's ordinance. So, me in particular, I'm getting tired of having my knives confiscated by these motherfuckers. So I'm trying to get a straight answer from them about it, and I can't. And
You've had your
I went to a sporting goods store the other day, and I was asking them, and I said, what's the law? How does it work? Basically, what I was told was it's up to the cop. The cop can take a Leatherman from you and claim it's a weapon.
You guys, you can't carry a knife on you in Ohio?
You can, but it's like if you're like I can't because I know my rights and screw you, and I'm not going to give you my ID and stuff like that. And then the next thing you know, now I have a weapon.
Yeah, with an Ohio, it's city to city, so the rules can be different town to town. But as overall in Ohio, in the statute, it specifically says that that the knife has to be modified in such a way that it is intended to be used as a weapon, which would exclude anything like a Leatherman or as
Swiss Army knife or something
right,
like that.
or the fireman's knife that you had taken off of you the first time we ever spoke. That's like you go to the website and it's advertised as a utility knife, so there's no way they can pass it off as a weapon because that's not the definition of a knife or deadly weapon.
So then obviously then in Ohio you can't like open carry a machete per se. Is that what you're telling me?
No, it would be. I mean, like
I don't know. Those are utility.
Mostly, but I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're if you work on a surveying crew.
No, I mean just walking down the street. If you put it on your side and had it completely openly displayed, you can't carry it.
Like if you're working on a survey crew, you could be walking on the side of the road with a machete attached to your tool belt because you may have to walk into the woods at any given time and cut some shit out of the way. But I mean,
if I'm just walking down the street,
I don't think you can walk down the road with a machete attached to your fucking leg and just walking down the road. I mean, especially like I said, somebody like me who's going to be like, I know my rights and I'm not going to be giving you my ID for no good reason and stuff like that. So they're just going to make a thing out of it. That's how it was expressed to me. It's totally officer discretion.
How would they find it though?
To me, it should be how you're wielding it, because if you're, if it's on your pocket, it's not even in your hand, so it's not like, you're not using it like a weapon, so it's not a weapon.
Because I know here in Washington, basically, from what I understand, it's over 6 inches. It's not considered.
You read the chat.
It's not considered a pocket knife anymore, and you have to openly display it.
Yeah.
Because you do that here. I have some larger knives, big survival knives, that if you put them on your waistband and put them around your belt or whatever, and you open carry them all you want, fully legal. Nobody's going to stop you and harass you for it.
Yeah, in Ohio it's basically legal as well, but the problem is that town to town can make up specific rules. So you would have to know every single town that you're walking through.
But wouldn't state law supersede town law?
Yeah,
No,
it should,
not
but there
for
is no
knives.
state law. That's the thing. There is no
there
state
isn't.
law.
Oh.
Right.
So
the only
that's-
thing in
that's-
state law is the definition of a deadly weapon, and that includes knives that are modified to be weapons. That's really the only definition.
That is so.
In the end, when it comes down to putting the handcuffs on you, it's officer discretion. It doesn't matter what anything says. It's officer discretion. If the officer
charges
wants to
probably
prick,
won't stick.
If he wants to make you suffer for knowing your rights, he's going to say it's a weapon, and you're going to go to jail.
In the end, it's all about officer safety. Well,
That's
officer
crazy.
safety says you have to
so,
get out of the car. I have
It's
to
so
cuff
vague. Your state law is so vague. If it's been modified to be a weapon, I'm like, anything can be a weapon.
Meanwhile, you
Exactly.
can walk around open carrying a gun.
That's ridiculous.
Seriously. Like I
It
said,
sounds like I never
have
want to visit
pictures.
the state of Ohio.
The knife, I'm telling you, the knife that I had taken from you on the Greyhound station was no bigger than your thumb.
Wow.
And that if it had been a half an inch bigger, according to the cop who took it, would have been like, now it's a weapon and blah, 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 blah. So would have been a whole nother thing. But since it was small enough, he didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ohio, they preempted the gun laws, but did not do knife laws. So knife laws can be set at the city level, but gun laws can no longer be.
That's for
I
after
mean,
they
we
take
were-
your guns away. They
Plus-
can take your guns away.
I was raised, I was a Boy Scout and a Cub Scout and stuff, and you were always taught, always have a knife on you. And to me, in my life, has been invaluable to have a knife on me many times.
Well, that's like me. I carry a knife everywhere I go. There's always a knife in my pocket. Doesn't matter.
I would too if I didn't keep having these cocksuckers confiscating them.
Do
you ever get them back?
I go to the courthouse. You have to go to court, and I have to pull like 3 knives out of my pocket. Oh crap! Forgot those were there. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. I gotta go back to the car. I'll be right back.
Well, that's funny. In Ohio, if you have a concealed carry license and you need to go to court, you can walk into court, hand over your gun, and they have to store it for you.
Yeah, that's how Pennsylvania is too.
And then give it back when you leave.
They have lockers there, and you get the little thing or whatever.
Well, that's how knives are here. I've never done that with a gun here, but knives, they lock them away for you and give them back.
The other thing that I always carry is a flashlight.
Last time I was in the Justice Center downtown, I thought I saw a discharge station, you know, where they empty the mags and stuff right there.
Sorry, what Scott? What are you saying?
I said I always carry a flashlight.
I have my phone for that.
See,
that's something I should have that I don't.
I'm telling you, I have a little. It's like what is it? A stream light. It was like $50, but it's bright as shit. And I carry it everywhere, man. It comes in here. People are like, "Oh, why do you carry that? Stupid." I'm like, I carry a pocket knife and a flashlight. And there's so many times where it's coming here. They're like, "Man, I can't believe you had a flashlight. Cool." I'm like, "Yeah, you're welcome. Now go ahead and stop making fun of me for it."
And then they ask you, why do you have it? You're like, I just saved your ass, didn't I?
Yeah. You better make sure it's not too bright. It might be considered a weapon.
Muzzle flash. Well,
a certain amount of lumens. It can.
wait for the flash.
Under 50 lumens.
Oh, this thing's way more than this. This thing is bright.
Oh, jeez.
You ever play Spotlight War, officer?
Who was that called and asked if they could that? Was that Jeffrey Gray?
I don't remember. I know it happened somewhere. I don't know who did it though.
Which thing are you referring to there, Scott?
Oh, there was a guy that was he called into the police department and they asked if it was a crime if he would just drive around and shine his like 1 million candle power spotlight at the police. Because that's what they had been doing to him. He just wanted to return the favor.
Oh, I wouldn't advise doing that, sir.
Yeah,
I think there was a videographer who did that once when the cops were pointing their mag light at him. He took out a mag light and started pointing it back at them.
Man, he's daring pulling out a mag light. They could have called that a gun.
Sure.
It was big, long, and black. It was a gun.
It was double-ended.
Oh, now you gotta be careful when you're in the ghetto and you're going to pee on the side of a building. They could call it a gun.
It was dark. I couldn't see very well.
Well, we just did do that story a couple of weeks ago about the girl who was charged with assault with a squirt gun.
Yep. Or the bubble gun too.
Yeah. And that guy was like the Terminator cop. He was so pissed.
He was.
I think he had a penis envy problem.
Officer Bubbles. It's so funny that that's what they named him. If you just type in Officer Bubbles, it comes right up.
I swear, I think that guy when he was young must have had like all of his bubbles popped when he was playing with one or something, and he's just pissed off and hates bubbles now.
That's great. So, Dio, you have anything else for us?
No. Just like I said, it's just I'd like to see a revamp of the laws, but when it comes to knives and stuff like that, and make it more based on something where how you're wielding it as opposed to just having it, Especially when
possession
you can walk
of an
around
object
holding a gun.
is stupid for making possession of an object illegal. It's what you do with that object which should be illegal, not the simple holding of it.
No.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in this week.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you will hear from you in the future.
Yep. See you around Greater Cleveland.
Yeah, later.
See you, man.
I don't know what else we want. Is there anything you want to talk about after the break? We're almost there.
Yeah, we were coming up on that break right now.
Where was the place? I just as soon as he was getting off there, wasn't Cleveland or somewhere in Ohio? I thought where they were having a problem with the Dick's Sporting Goods, and they were trying to buy guns from them, and they were making them fill all this. They were trying to make people fill all this paperwork.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically about it, but actually, we got a couple stories after the break about settlements. So stick with us to the break. You're listening to the Cop Block Radio Show on FPRN.
You stand by. You act as if nothing.
In 1997, a high school shooting was stopped by a vice principal with a gun. In 1998, a middle school shooting was ended by a neighbor with a gun. In 2002, a terrorist attack was stopped by a school guard and a teacher with a gun. After September 11th, pilots began carrying guns to protect their passengers. Let's give our schools and teachers the same option. Sign the petition at defendschools.com.
Well, yeah, it's getting tough out there. Yeah, no doubt. I work in home invasions mostly. Some murder, occasional rape if she's hot, or really bitchy. And I'm a huge advocate of gun control. Absolutely. Every time I kick in a door or smash a window, I face the possibility of being shot and killed. Allowing citizens to own guns creates a hostile work environment for me and my associates. No one should have to work under those conditions. I say make them all illegal. Absolutely. I mean, I break the law for a living. I'm a professional, so it doesn't really bother me. No doubt. No doubt.
Your local violent criminals work hard and put their lives on the line every time they attempt to murder, rape, abduct, or assault a member of the citizenry. They desperately need your help. With your support, there may finally come a day when a violent criminal can have his way with you or someone you love without the fear, anxiety, and stress caused by knowing there's a possibility his victim might be armed. Please show your support by voting for stronger anti-gun legislation because criminals prefer unarmed citizens.
In every age, a technology is created that upends the foundations of society. The wheel, the printing press, the internet. Now, in a world sliding into financial chaos, a new technology is changing the way monetary systems work around the world. It is called Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a new form of money, controlled not by banks, governments, or corporations, but through mutual commerce between free individuals. To learn more, visit weusecoins.com.
Do you have a group or organization founded on the principles of personal liberty, health freedom, or accountable government? We invite you to check out Same Side Entertainment. Same Side is a source for activists and liberty organizations to connect with well-known leaders in today's growing movement for sustainable living, personal liberty, and sovereignty issues. Same Side has a variety of keynote speakers, debate panels, interactive web presentations, musicians, and liberty-based entertainment, as well as services for web design, graphic design, video, and photography. Same Side can help customize your event by connecting you to the best of the liberty and political world while staying within your budget. Get connected with leaders in the liberty movement like Tom Woods, Kevin Gutzman, Jack Hunter, Robert Scott Bell, Bob Murphy, Michael Scheuer, John Bush, Jordan Page, Tatiana Moroz, and many more. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our website at www.samesideentertainment.com. Again, that's www.samesideentertainment.com. Same Side Entertainment, connecting you with the education and resources you need.
Get over to sonsoflibertymint.com right now. Secure your wealth by trading in those pesky Federal Reserve notes for Sons of Liberty Mint's fine silver quarters. These 1/4 ounce bars, square in shape and stamped "Trust in Yourself," are unlike any other traditional round. With 4 pieces per ounce, you'll not only be investing in sound money, but you'll also be purchasing usable, divisible silver. Don't get stuck with ferns or bulky silver bars. Visit sunsoflibertymint.com today and invest in silver you can use. What's better than silver? Free silver, of course, which is what you'll get by partaking in Sons of Liberty Mint's weekly silver giveaways. It's fun, it's easy, and it's your chance to win 4 fine silver quarters. That's 1 ounce of .999 fine silver from Sons of Liberty Mint. All you have to do is guess the close of spot price each week for your chance to win. Visit sonsoflibertymint.com/contest for more details. That's SUNS, sonsoflibertymint.com.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, Advertise with us or donate to the network or to your favorite shows. Check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.
And welcome back to the Copblock Radio Show live on FPRN and syndicated across the interwebs. Before the break, I mentioned that there was a couple articles about settlements, and we've talked a little bit in the past. Did you guys see this, the settlement in the case where a guy was shot for watering his lawn?
I want to say we covered that a while back.
We did, but there's a settlement now.
Yeah, that's an insane amount of money.
Yes. So there was a guy who was watering his lawn, and the police mistook the spray nozzle as a firearm and shot and killed the dude. So
what were they even there for? Do you remember?
Ah, crap.
Like, were they just like walking? Oh, let's just go for a walk down the street. Oh, good, that guy has a gun. Let's shoot him.
No, if I remember correctly, he was actually at it wasn't even his house. He was at a buddy's house, and he was intoxicated, and he was sitting on his buddy's front porch waiting for him to get home, and decided to water his lawn for him because he was being a good friend. And one of the neighbors seen him do it, thought he was like breaking into the house or something, paranoid neighbor. Oh my God, there's someone outside. Called the cops, showed up, and shot him. If I remember correctly.
This was back in 2010 when they fatally shot him, and his family has just been awarded $6.5 million in a lawsuit for the guy. He got shot 12 times.
Mm-hmm. Now, what state was that out again?
California.
Oh, that's right. They don't want to have more than 10 rounds. That's right.
Right, because the police shot him with 12.
Yep. You can't have more than 10, though. That was the problem. If they would have had 10, he might have lived. Yeah, but no. I guess that family can thank the taxpayers of California for that $6.5 million.
Exactly. So, which brings us to the other article I have posted. We have talked about Minneapolis, Minnesota, and their plague of lawsuits that they've experienced over the past 6 years. They've paid out $14 million in settlements from 2006 through 2012. And there is now a push to get an amendment to the city charter that would force cops, just like any other professional, to carry liability insurance and pay out of their own pockets if they are found to have mistreated civilians, which, if it gets enough signatures, could land on the ballot for 2014.
I love that idea.
I do too, because I hope it passes and it spreads like crazy, because you think any other professional that could
potentially do damage to someone.
Right. Has to carry insurance. Like doctors and nurses and lawyers and carpenters and various other. But for some reason, the people who carry guns around don't have to.
Yes. People who are 9 times more likely to kill you than a terrorist.
Right.
I think that actually went up. I'm serious.
Yeah. No, I know they're more likely. I'm not arguing with you on that point. Maybe we should start selling terrorist insurance, though. We could make millions.
Oh, man. That kind of reminds me.
If you get killed by a terrorist, we will pay your family.
That's like,
right.
There was an episode of The Simpsons. This is how you should, everything should relate to The Simpsons. There's an episode where Bart and Lisa were sitting there, and Lisa said that this rock helped to keep away tigers or elephants or something like that. And Bart's like, I'll buy that rock from you. Anyway, back to the insurance.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this, and it's being pushed by a group called, oh jeez, I just saw it, Communities United Against Police Brutality. And according to them, they argue that the bad apples, quote, who continue to abuse their power in uniform will be forced out, as their insurance rates will become too costly for them to remain in the department, or they become uninsurable.
I love that, because that would actually weed out the bad cops.
Definitely. It would definitely weed them out, and I'm not sure why this hasn't
Why doesn't
come up
this exist
sooner.
already?
Right. I don't know why cops are not personally liable for their actions. And why do the taxpayers suddenly have to pay when they do something bad? Especially when they're never actually punished for it at all. So, check that out. I'll post that in the show notes. It actually has the law written in here, too.
I found a contact page to this group, and I think I'm going to write them a message and see about getting them on the show.
That would
to
be
talk
good.
to us about it.
Definitely. I hope they go beyond just Minneapolis. It looks kind of a ragtag group at the moment, so we'll see if it...
That's all right. We'll still reach out to them and see if they can come on and explain exactly what they're trying to do.
So, yeah, I mean, that would be a huge step if officers were personally liable for what they do, and if their insurance no longer wants to cover them and they're uninsured, then they are personally liable for their own stuff. So, which would probably be the point where hopefully a department would not hire them. It's kind of making it so it's undesirable for... Because, well, right now, settlements are always paid out of the taxpayer money, and I have no idea why that is somehow acceptable.
I don't either.
So if they can make it less acceptable, one, we need to make it less acceptable for taxpayers to be on the hook for the actions of other individuals. And this is hopefully a good step towards that. And then should somebody lose their insurance coverage, it would then be unacceptable to the taxpayer that they remain on the force. Because we don't want to go back to where it is, because you figure if they don't have insurance, then the taxpayer would be back on the hook again.
Yeah. So I got a buddy that's listening to the show and just texted me. He brought up the good point here. The government would probably end up subsidizing that insurance for the cops.
Well, see, that's where it should be, that it is up to the cop to secure their own insurance. Just like any other profession that has to carry insurance, they provide their own insurance.
Yeah, but see what they could do. They would just, increase their pay. They wouldn't even announce it. They would just go ahead and increase their pay.
No, you need more pay
and they
to
would
cover
bump
your
it up.
insurance.
Yeah, but eventually an insurance company won't cover them no matter the cost. So, and I don't think you could ever justify if a cop was getting $500,000 for walking down the street. The money would run out kind of fast. Not that they don't have enough of it, but
yeah, I mean, no, the premiums would be, at first I think it would be low, but like you were saying, like they would start to realize, like, oh wait, we're going to actually pay this shit, so the premiums would then go up, and it would become unaffordable.
Exactly. So once that's the case, then we're home free.
Yeah, I wish that would be in a perfect world, which I'm still looking for.
Right, which is exactly what everybody should be doing. They should be carrying insurance for their actions, regardless of their line of work, instead of having all these governmental, whatever you want to call them, safeguards. Because that just costs everybody else and not the person responsible. So what was this that you posted about the punishment is the crime from RT? Oh, no, it's not from RT. It's from Reason.
No, what?
Scott, you posted that.
Oh, yeah, I posted it. It was just an article that I saw, and it was kind of, it was kind of relevant. It was just talking about how there's so many people in this country that, essentially are now, sitting in prisons with life terms, with lifetime sentences because of victimless crimes with these 3-strike rules or, all this stupid BS. And essentially they're being punished as, criminals, as a violent criminal would be, whenever they hit these 3-strike laws. There was a guy I saw that he was 23 or something like that. And he, was a family guy. He was a recovering drug addict and he cleaned himself up and somehow, he got mixed up in some stuff and made some bad choices and it was his 3rd strike. And they're basically trying to send this guy to jail for the rest of his life for, theft. Which, I'm not saying that it's okay to steal things, but I'm saying, the punishment should fit the crime. 3 strikes or not, if you steal, a pack of playing cards when you're 18 and you steal, a baseball bat when you're 19, it's silly to say, well, 3 strikes and you're out, let the punishment fit the crime. That's not the case because there's so many people across the country. I said there was 3,278 prisoners in the country that would just be nonviolent offenders that are serving life, without parole. What the fuck is that? How can we justify sending somebody to jail for the rest of their life with no opportunity to get out because of the fact that they committed, 3 crimes, regardless of what they were? That's insanity.
Right. I mean, in this first article, this kid stole 2 jerseys from Foot Locker, and he has it triggered a life sentence. Really?
See, and you know what? I think that this just goes to show how important it is not to get the police involved in anything ever. Unless someone has killed you, don't call the police. There's no reason.
Yeah, I mean, then there's another one a guy was sentenced to life for the 3 strikes law for a single $10 crack sale.
But you have a, state, or, I don't know, who was the politician that just got in trouble for getting $260 worth of coke? It's he bought cocaine. Who gives a shit? He's probably also signing bills that kill people, but nobody gives a shit about that. That's okay, but don't do drugs.
Man. Yeah, the minimum sentencing laws, 3-strike laws, they're such bullshit. I mean, they don't do anything to actually help anything. Who else is in here? And it's all guys sent to federal prison for possessing a gun during a marijuana sale. Who else? I don't know. I don't know what we can possibly do about this. Because whenever anything comes up like this, the law enforcement agents are there lobbying in force, and that's who the politicians listen to.
And not just that, they're being paid to do it, I'm sure. Oh yeah, your job is to go down to the to the government building and talk to politicians, and we're going to go ahead and pay you for it.
Right? How is that legal? I never got that. What the hell?
I was on the topic the other day of how, the UPS and FedEx are, recording. I'm not going to say record-breaking profits, but they're turning a good profit. UPS pays their employees very well, too well in my opinion. But here you have an example of 2 companies that are privately run and they're doing well, where the government hasn't been able to fix the postal service since it was started, and it's record losses every single year. It's costing the taxpayers money to keep it alive.
Yeah, and they have a monopoly on first-class mail. I mean, the Postal Service has enforcement agents, armed enforcement agents, who have raided FedEx in the past for, I believe, Equifax or something, was sending stuff through FedEx. And they, hit FedEx with some crazy fine for dealing in first-class mail. This is something really stupid, though.
What's the definition of first-class mail?
Like
2-day service or what?
No, anything that's documents that are not time sensitive. So, like, Equifax was sending, credit reports and crap to people through FedEx. And FedEx was giving them, like, a super discounted rate for, like, $1 or something like that. But since they were not time-sensitive documents, they were classified as first-class mail by the government.
Where I come from, we call that fucktarded.
Yeah. I think if you Google Equifax USPS, you might get it. But it was a huge thing. It's really ridiculous. Let's see. USPS Equifax 1993. You'll get it. It's a really screwed up story. But yeah, the USPS raided the Equifax offices in 1993 because they want their forced monopoly on first class mail. Even though probably FedEx and UPS could probably deliver a better service because they actually have to work for the service instead of getting it, on for given. But hey, alrighty. Let's get back to the topic at hand for the night. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
No, I had a bunch of articles up there, and we kind of just covered most of them.
This is a good one. You had posted it, but I was going to post it. The researcher who builds a frag grenade from inside airport terminal.
Yes.
Oh, that was the coolest. I watched all of his videos the other night. I am so a terrorist now. Completely.
We don't have to pretend to talk like terrorists now.
No, we are terrorists now.
So you want to talk about this? Somebody want to talk about it?
I fully support it. I think that it was a great video. So what the guy did was, you'd have to remind me what the ingredients were. I know he had, a thermal coffee cup, a condom, some water, a battery.
Yep. Axe body spray.
An Axe body spray, yeah.
And a few others.
And the guy made a small, I don't know. I guess it was a bomb. I mean, it was a small explosion, but it was enough to disrupt some things and cause panic. But all these items were items that he purchased after he would have gone through security checkpoint through the TSA, security theater. And it was pretty cool. He did it in like 7 minutes or something like that, and he kind of screwed one thing up, and he had to redo it. But it just shows how much of BS the whole TSA thing is.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a stainless steel cup, a lithium AA battery, a 1 ounce can of Axe body spray, a condom, water, magazine, dental floss, which both of those were optional. Yeah, it's crazy what you come up with because it's basically making some sort of chemical reaction. I'm not 100% sure how he did it, but how it works, but it was pretty crazy.
What it was, I forget what kind of battery it was, but if my memory serves me right, he took the condom and he filled it up with water, and then he like put it inside the capsule or whatever, and whenever he threw it, it broke open the condom, and the condom shorted out the battery.
It's the lithium in the battery. I posted the link to his website. I just put it in the chat. I found it.
Yeah, so basically the water shorts out the battery, which is the ignition source, which makes the Axe body spray explode.
Yeah, I mean, and
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's flammable, so yeah, it was very MacGyver-ish. And yeah, he could basically build it with.
Have you guys seen his other videos? Because that's not at all the only one.
Yeah, he makes a lot of things that you can buy post security.
Yep,
it's really messed up, but yeah,
blow darts. He's got just some crazy stuff that all can be made after you've gone through your checkpoint.
Yeah, his website's called terminalcornucopia.com. It is very interesting.
No, it's a good site. It shows you how stupid the TSA is.
Anything in the airport you get yelled at for taking or messing with is off limits.
What?
That's his disclaimer. There's rules. This is not NAM. This is building bombs. There are rules. Only materials can be sourced from inside the terminal after the security screening has been used. Only cash and a small travel-approved multi-tool can be carried into the terminal. Anything in the airport you get yelled at for taking or messing with is off limits.
So it's basically a contest of who can devise all these funny, outrageous things.
That's pretty awesome. All terminal cornucopia weapons are constructed in a lab. At no point were any weapons built, handled, or transported in or near an airport. A lab? The guy was sitting in the grass behind a piece of plywood. Is that his lab? I like this guy already.
Oh, so funny. I mean, some of these things are just insane, and they're so ingenious. So, but I mean, it just shows the absurdity of the security theater. I mean, that's all it is. It's theater. They're not actually securing anything when all these things are readily available to you post terminal or post security check.
Did you see this thing called Chucks of Liberty?
Yeah. They're crazy nunchucks. And then Murica. Murica looks like a gun made out of the Constitution. That's a spiked club. A spiked club made out of the Constitution rolled up and magazines and Scotch tape.
I can't watch. I'll be up all night on this guy. That's what YouTube does to you, man.
I know, that's great. Oh, and he uses a Washington Monument pencil sharpener as the spike.
He used the Statue of Liberty magnet heads.
Oh, it's so funny. But yeah,
that guy must spend a lot of time in airports to know what you can buy.
Maybe he travels a lot and he just happens to see it all. So funny. That's great. But it just shows that the absurdity of the police state that we are dealing with, especially when we're trying to fly. I mean, I talked to somebody who was saying, well, what are you going to do if there was no TSA? It's like, well, the airlines would cover security. And be like, well, if they don't have any security, it's like, well, would you fly on an airplane company who has no security? I mean, I would like at least some sort of security. I'm not crazy, but I don't need the TSA to give me the blue glove love. I should be able to choose which airline I use and what level of security I'm comfortable with.
I like the blue glove love, man. I tell them it's going to get awkward. I'm like, oh no, it's going to get awkward. I want people to see this.
But yeah, it's like, well, we had security prior to the TSA, so
we should have talked about the new TSA pre-screening that they're doing, where you can submit your like car registration, your tax forms, all kinds of crap, and you'll get potentially to bypass the screening unless you're selected randomly.
Yeah, it's like a crazy federal background check.
Yeah.
Concealed carry card. All right, well, that's all the time we have for this week. Be sure to tune in every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern at FPRN Radio. This is the Cop Block Radio Show, and until next week, remember that badges don't grant extra rights.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, advertise with us, or donate to the network or to your favorite shows, check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.